Hi, welcome to an episode of 365 Unplugged. I am Loryan Strant and joined as always by
the corona-free Alistair Pugin coming to you live.
Do you know that hasn't been tested?
I haven't been tested. I've seen stuff how they're managing it in China right now where you get, it's crazy. There was a video that's been floating around about, they've got like 20 or 200 million cameras, right? And they were doing the social experiment that I heard about.
I can't help with that right now.
And that's Cortana.
That's pretty common for her.
She just randomly, look, she's a great speaker, but she does this random things. Anyhow, they're doing face tracking in China because they've got millions of cameras everywhere. And they track your face so they know where you are, and then they give you a badge, like green, amber, red. It's actually quite cool, or yellow. And this social experiment works because they can track the spread of corona.
Oh, okay. Fair enough.
I think
so for now, we
Corona.
Yeah. That's what it was. Yeah. So I think normally in this episode, in these shows, we would do paper, rock, scissors and have a bit of a debate about what the particular topic is. But as you can probably tell by our headwear, we're here to talk about a specific thing, Microsoft Teams. And I think probably more so to talk about Zoom versus Microsoft Teams, because right now everybody's working from home and everybody must show pictures of their desk because, oh my God, working from home is such a new thing to so many people. Please stop sharing pictures of your desks and your team meetings. It's not new. Anyway.
But it's a thing, right? It is a thing. I mean, we're going to run a competition at the office to show your desk. And
yeah, but that's
naturally,
fine.
I was like, you might as well just give me the prize, right?
Well, that's the thing. Is that's internal, right? People sharing this stuff on social media going, look, we're doing a virtual team meeting. It's like, and?
Oh, come on.
Do you want a medal?
Let people be excited about things they're not used to. It's like I get excited because I've got a new vape. Now, we need to decide on whether or not we're banning the use of vapes on 365U, because we did a video where I blew vape smoke into, well, not directly into his face. He was just standing next to me and wind blew it that way. And we got some aggressive comments on that video around background blur. And people were very disgruntled that I was A, vaping and B, blowing vape smoke into Loryan's face. So I think the fact that we are practicing social distancing should allow me to vape in my own.
Oh, I'm so offended.
So offended.
You blew that in my face. Oh.
Well, there's a train of thought, right, that if you hike up the heat that goes into your lungs, you'll mitigate the risk of corona and you'll kill them. So, no, it's a thing, right? So drink hot water, drink coffee, because the virus cannot occupy space, and ventilate and all of, well, use a nebulizer.
I'll go buy a pack of smokes then after this call.
So
that'd be good. So yeah,
I'm just heating the air going into my lungs because I want to not be affected by corona.
Fair enough.
Speaking about corona,
the coronavirus. Let's call it that, because the beer. It's actually one of my favorite beers. So I like Corona. Let's talk about coronavirus or COVID. But no, let's talk about Zoom, right? Zoom, and everybody's talking about, Zoom has this feature, but Teams doesn't have this feature. Especially things like background blur, which people were quite pissed off that our video didn't actually tell them how to do background blur, because I would have thought that if you think that two guys standing outside the back of a Microsoft building talking about background blur is an authoritative source and you're going to get shown how to do it, but you can't find that information elsewhere, maybe you're looking in the wrong place. Anyway, not to insult our viewers, we've already been insulted by watching it apparently. So Teams can't do background effects, it can only do background blur. People are saying they need to have this feature. I can kind of see why. I don't really particularly agree with it. Now, I say this as a person who's had background effects for quite a period of time as I get these features early. But the reality is, background effects background blur. Really, I'm just trying to obfuscate what's behind me. Maybe sometimes I want to completely replace the background because blur's not enough. But is this a feature worthwhile getting all hissy about?
Do me a favor. Do me a favor, Loryan. Switch on background blur, please.
Well, just blur.
There we go. All right. Yeah, blur's fine. Don't worry about a custom background. So generally what blur does is it obfuscates exactly what you said, because we use big words on the show. It removes any trace of background. That's what it does. So yeah, but I mean, it's tracking some of that.
Yeah, no. I was trying to set the range.
Generally, what could be so bad in the background, right?
Now, and look, that's the thing.
That you'd want to replace it with an image, not just a blur.
And I think that's the thing is there's probably scenarios where maybe you do because the blur isn't actually obfuscating enough. So maybe there's people like right next to you. And so the blur is all it's really doing is shut up, Bixby. I didn't say anything to do with you. So the blur is obfuscating their details, but you can still see it, or you can still see activity or those kind of things. So I can kind of see it, but it's not that big of a deal. But I think what's probably more pertinent, because people are getting a little bit hissy about that one. However, I can say as of time of recording, that is coming in the next soon. Yeah, that's about all I can say. It's actually hit the roadmap. I can't remember what it was, but it's hit the roadmap and it's actually on its way out now in terms of development features. But the other one is the amount of people you can see in a meeting. So in Teams, we have the active viewers. And so you will see generally up to 4 people on a screen. And then you'll see, another little row down the bottom with a few more videos. And that's about it. And what people are complaining about is that Zoom allows you to do 3x3, 4x4, 5x5. What's it go up to? Like, what's the maximum? You were saying also that you need to have a paid account to have that?
Well, no, the free account. So there's a few things about Zoom, right? Zoom, you've got a free account. Teams, you've got a free account, right? Yep. So you can roll out Teams. I think it's up to 300 users for a free account.
I have no idea.
Yeah. So you can have 300 people participating in a team. Now remember, actually, hold on. We need to segment what we are comparing, because participating in a team means that there are people that are living inside of a team. There is no Zoom that does that, where you can chat. There's no chat.
That's the thing is we have to kind of compare. There's Microsoft Teams, the client, what it can do, versus a team and all those kind of things.
So we are actually just comparing Teams meetings with Zoom, because that's the only thing you can compare it against.
Exactly. Teams meetings and calls,
Teams meetings and Zoom. All right. Now you get the free version of Zoom, and you can have up to 100 participants in that call, but you need a host license. So someone on that call must be the host, and they need a license, right? There's unlimited one-to-one meetings. So if you had to go and run the free Teams version, which is up to 300 participants, you can also have unlimited one-on-one, unlimited one-to-many meetings, right? Yep. The free version of Zoom gives you 40 minutes of meeting time before it cuts. Teams doesn't do that. The free version of Teams doesn't do that.
Teams, I think, has 4 hours.
Is it 4 hours? Okay, I don't know. We've run 4-hour meetings. We've done workshops on Teams that run the full day. So that actually goes further than 4 hours. What you don't get with the free version of Teams is scheduling. You can't schedule a meeting.
Yeah,
because it needs a mailbox. Yeah. Whereas with Zoom, you can schedule a meeting and it pulls into Outlook as an iCal or whatever you want to call it. But you could literally hit Meet now in the free version of Teams and send everyone the link, and they can join that.
Yes. So
you just can't put it in someone's calendar.
Scaling though, the whole like Brady bunching within Zoom, that's the feature that people are wanting. What does that go up to? Because I've seen like a box that's like 50 people, which I can't.
It's not even listed as a feature on their features page.
All right. Because there's got to be like an upper limit. But the reality is, look, so Microsoft is working on this. I'm not sure what it's going to look like in terms of maximums. I've seen demos of this stuff. I've seen mock-ups. I've seen screenshots of it, and I can't say any more about where it's actually at. But you can see actually on the user voice, it's the top most requested feature with 18,310 votes, and they are working on it. But the reality is this enough? Like, so many people are going, oh, Zoom is so much better than Teams because of this. Is it? Because you know what? A Ferrari is really good at driving fast, but it's not good for getting my groceries. So do I have two separate cars? Because what happens if I need to then take the family, and there's 4 of us, we don't fit in a Ferrari. So what do we do there? So this is the problem, is that you can't just say this thing does this better than this, therefore it's a better product. It's like, well, no, it does that because it's purpose built. Like that's,
well, look,
they're not comparing
the free
apples to
version. Yeah, the free version of Zoom, and we're only on the free version of Zoom right now, does a whole bunch of things, right? You get HD video, you get voice. Look, the codec that they're using for encryption is really good. It's really, really good. I don't dispute that. Coming back to what we were talking earlier on about background blur and all of that and stuff like that, but it's really the video part. There's some group chat functionality in the meeting, but I don't know what happens to it after the fact. There's messaging and presence, and there's some breakout stuff in the free version. Okay.
Yes. While you're in the meeting.
That's correct. Now, so that's all good and well. Video, you can have a Brady Bunch chat with 30 people, however many people, and you can all see their faces. What you have in Teams is a 2x2 plus.
How many eyeballs do I have? How many eyeballs do I have? So how many eyes can I look at one time?
Yeah. But also, I mean, that's an option you can switch on. So invariably, what I like about Teams, and you can have it in Zoom as well, when someone's talking, I want them to be the focal point of what I'm looking at. Right? Yep. And with Teams, when there's a 2x2, and when someone talks, the person that's not talked, the person that's talked the least will drop off and the other person comes up. You can still have a row at the bottom of your screen where you can see everyone. I think it's the first 4 in that specific order. You can still see those people. So let's say you get a 4x4. So you get 4 main and 4 sub views of people, right?
Yeah.
And I get the whole concept of this is the first time you're working from home and you've got a team of 30 people that you are conversating with, and it's good to see their faces. Great. But it's not a deal breaker.
No.
You can have a teleconference with no video. Same thing.
That's right. So here's one of the things that I love, right? And that's the thing is, but you can't compare the two. There's no apples to apples here. Just because it does video does not mean it's the same product. Because that's the thing is Zoom is a meetings, it is a video calling product that is literally all it does. So naturally, it's going to be better at it. Whereas Teams is a collaboration platform that happens to also do meetings. One of the things that I personally love from a meetings perspective is if we were doing this via Zoom or having a meeting, cool, there's video. So where's the file that we're talking about? Where's the whiteboard? Where are all these other apps? So you know what I love about Teams is you could be sitting there. Let's say hypothetically you were in the office because you're allowed to go in the office, and you're standing in front of a Surface Hub, and we've got a Teams meeting going, and you start doing stuff on the whiteboard. So I can go, great, I'll open the whiteboard here on Windows 10 or on an iPhone, and I can open it up here and get my pen out and start working on the whiteboard here on this particular screen. So I can still see you in video, but then I can also open the document that we're referring to because that's in the same location as the meeting is in the channel. And I can open that and work on it in real time with everybody else. And that's the thing is, this is the thing that is, to be quite frank, shitting me to tears, where people are comparing it. Like, just because Zoom can do this does not mean Teams can do that. Because I'm sorry, can we do it the other way? Because, hey, Teams has file sharing. Teams has integration with, telephony capabilities. Teams has, God, I don't want to go through the list. It's ridiculously big. Teams has a task management app. Teams has, threaded conversations. Teams has retention, security, all these things. Why doesn't Zoom have that? When's Zoom working on these things?
Zoom actually does have quite a few things, right? But it comes at a cost. So moving from the freemium version, which I think the larger population of the planet is using right now, including it's the same conversation with Slack versus Teams. And right
Yeah.
now, the CEO of Slack says they're integrating into Teams. Why? Because if you can't beat them, you better join them. Yeah.
Yes.
They're
I also don't know
integrating
what
into Teams.
APIs he's talking about that allows that to occur, but go on.
Well, look, there's some form of integration, but it's the same comparing Slack to Teams, because it's not just about the video calling capabilities of Teams, it's everything that comes with that. Now, with Slack, if you start paying the $15 per month per host, so if you want to host a meeting, you can bolt on all these other things. Like Zoom, not Slack. Hold on, the Zoom, Slack, they're in the same bubble, right? You can then get a paid for account and you can host these meetings, and then you get additional functionality around being able to schedule meetings properly. And you can also then bolt on external cloud storage, which is probably OneDrive, Dropbox, I don't know, at like $40 a month. You can have a SIP room connector for telephony, like with calling plans. That comes at $49 per month per host. You can have meeting rooms, which starts at another $49 per month.
Yeah.
And you can have a dial-in number at an extra $100 per month.
Wow. So you know what's interesting?
And then
actually,
you can. It's just
talking about that meeting room, license.
Yeah.
That was what, $49 a month, right?
$49 per month.
So like, if I look at a meeting room license for Teams, which I don't think is that much, I think it's about more like $20 a month. Not only do I get a whole bunch, like pretty much the same functionality, but that device is also now managed by Intune. So it's actually protected and secured. Yeah. So that's the thing is this insanity of Zoom does this. Why can't Teams do it? Cool. Let's make Zoom work the same way that Teams does and get all those bolt-ons and get all then get your Slacks for your chat and your messaging and threaded conversations and your Dropbox or your G Suite and all these other things. And then your AirWatch for your device management or mobile line or whatever the hell they're called now. And let's add on all these things. And then let's see how much you've got left in the bank after that. And let's see how well they work together. Because you know what? I did a project a few months ago where I had to have meetings via Zoom. Files were in Google Drive. We used Slack to converse. And then, of course, we used email for calendaring and also for other communications. And the thing that I loved about it was I'd have a meeting with these people via Zoom because I'd have to open Outlook to get the meeting invite, click on it, join Zoom, great. And then we'd have this conversation and then great, okay, here's all these actions. And I'd say, that file you're referring to, can you share that with me? So what they do is in Slack after the call, they would say, here you go, Loryan, here's the file with a link to the Google Doc file. I'd click on it and go, I don't have access, request access. That's been so much fun. 4 tools, none of them really talking to each other, integrated. That's the thing that is, to be quite frank, shitting me, is I wish everyone would shut up about this tool does this, why doesn't this one? Because they're not the same thing.
Yeah. Well, also, people have been complaining about the performance of Teams. I think everyone's complained about it. I think Teams running on Electron is shitty. They need to fix that.
Yeah.
Give it. People have been complaining over the last 2 weeks about Teams. What people do not realize, right? They do not realize that when, should I say Corona? She's not going to say anything. When COVID-19 hit the world, right? And people started to work from home and they had to work from home and they started using Teams. Teams grew by 12 million users daily users in seven days. 7 days, 12 million users up. 12 million people started using
today
Teams.
Is the service has gone up by 775%.
Yeah. They scaled, and funnily enough, Teams actually runs on top of Kubernetes. Yeah. They scaled, and this just proves the scalability of a platform that runs in the cloud, specifically the Microsoft cloud, right? They scaled the infrastructure, and you've got the right number. I thought it was 600%, and that was probably about 6 days ago. 600% capacity they scaled. And how do they do that? They just scaled the infrastructure, right? And now it's over 700%. And people have been complaining about Teams because Teams is sluggish, Teams is a bit slow. And we've all experienced that. And there's a plethora of reasons why. 1, where's your tenant? Is your tenant localized? 2, Teams will be affected by the slowest denominator, also being the person that connects over the slowest connection. And there are ways to fix that. If you are on a slow network, switch off all video. Problem solved.
Yeah, that's right.
All right.
And actually, Teams will suggest it to you.
Yeah, at least there wasn't well, there were outages around chat, but that was a
Yep.
completely different thing. So
Yeah.
if you are comparing Zoom to Teams, understand that how much did Zoom grow in the last 2 weeks? Do we have a stat? Do we have a stat about the growth of Zoom? No. So if the technology the infrastructure that Zoom is running on is underutilized, then it's going to run, right?
Yeah.
Then can go stick with Teams for meetings, don't pay, use the free license, up to 10 people, participants, and all of that. But when we start talking about enterprise-grade collaboration, you can't compare Zoom to
No.
Teams. Let's
And that's
just
the thing that I
understand
wish. That's the thing that I wish people would shut up about. And by no means are we saying that Teams is perfect, Teams is flawless. As you've just said, there Teams has its issues. Teams has a number of different issues in a number of different areas. It's not perfect. Hashtag feature parity, all these other things we can bring up. But the reality is, our beef is more about the comparison of Zoom to Teams. And this is not a case of saying Teams is better than Zoom and defending it that way. It's stop comparing them. They're not the same thing. That's it. That's the message here.
And to close off with still wanting to have backgrounds, custom backgrounds in Teams. We're waiting for it to release. You know, it's in the roadmap and it's coming. And some people have had access to it because they've been on either in the technology, the TAP program, or as an MVP, you'd have access to early release features. Great. So we've got access to that. Okay. What?
Not all MVPs.
Oh, you should. Not all MVPs have access to it, but I mean, if you're part of the a specific program inside of the MVP program, you'll get access to new features. Great. In the interim, while you wait, Snapchat has actually released a Snapchat camera, and go find it. I posted it on Twitter. I'll ask Loryan to. We'll put it in. So if you are hell-bent, if your life is not complete without having either background blur or a custom background, more so than background blur, go have a look at Snapchat camera. It's easy to set up. You don't need a Snapchat account, and you can do amazing things. You can even create your own custom backgrounds with a Snapchat studio. So if you are hell-bent on having a background, we've just solved your problems. And to those two guys that said,
that was a complete waste of their time.
Yes, you can actually fast forward to this point in the video, right? Or don't even look at the video, just click on the video and click on the link in the video, and then that will give you access to custom background images in Teams.
There we go. So that's it.
And
so
you can have it in Zoom, you can have it in any video application that uses
you
your
can have it in See You See Me.
There we go. And I think our work here is done.
Yeah. So we get off our soapboxes now.
Do we believe that Teams is better than Zoom? Yes, I personally believe that Teams is better than Zoom. Compare apples for apples. I also believe that you need to look at the video features of Zoom and compare it to Teams. And there are certain things like it will make you look prettier because there's a pro feature that makes you look prettier. It softens the features inside of Zoom.
The Vaseline on the lens.
Yeah. So
days of our lives blur. That's what it is. That's what they used to do. The 80s, Vaseline on the lens.
Oh my God. Okay, let's go with. If you can't get anything to work, put Vaseline on your webcam. That's adopted. Anyhow,
we'll
digressing.
There, shall we?
Yeah. If you enjoyed the show, hit the subscribe button. Like what is
blah,
it?
Blah blah
blah.
Like, subscribe,
share,
notify.
Like, share, and subscribe.
Tell
Smash the bell button. Tell your friends. We're really excited. And if you're looking for me, you can find me on the Twitteratis and the interwebs at Alistair Pugin for everything except TikTok because I'm not there. And Loryan, where do we find you?
On the Twitters and the socials at Loryan Strant. So that's it. We'll wrap it up there.
Is that it? Is it? Yeah.
That's it.
Ciao, ciao.
That's it. Ciao, ciao.